This is the WZ-111 5A. It's a tier 10 Chinese heavy, and it's a vehicle that I really enjoy playing. It's a tank that has been buffed and then nerfed quite a bit, and I think the current state it's in is still quite good. Not as good as the previous state, but it's still a very strong vehicle. It has 440 damage per shot, with 2,750 DPM if you're running calibrated shells, which I am because there's no reason to run rammer in the current state of the game. Calibrated shells gives you a 13% pen buff on AP and heat, and that's exactly what this tank fires. So it has 280 millimeters of standard pen, and it has 340 on the premium, which isn't anything insane, but it's enough to cut through the majority of armor that you are dealing with. Still really disappointing that this is literally the lowest pen tier 10 heavy in the game. Don't know why Wargaming loves making this tank have such sucky pen values. Now the 5A is very mobile, which is always very nice. Reaches a top speed of 45 kilometers per hour, and we can see even the Kron using super speed boost is having a hard time keeping up with us. And that's because of the mobility this vehicle features. Not only is the 5A pretty mobile, but it also features 440 damage, which is great for out-trading your opponents, so it does feature a lot of great things going for it. But it's not to say it doesn't have downsides, and it does. The biggest downside is the hull armor. It has basically none. The DPM is really good, though, at least, so if you're ever in the situation where you need to use your DPM, you can. And that was a pretty good juicer into the enemy minnow for 460 damage per shot. We can see the E6, we can see the rest of the enemy team is making some pretty aggressive plays. E100 and 183 are all the way in the back, and I don't really want to be shot by the minnow. I mean, the only spot I can pen him is in the roof, and there you go. We actually hit directly on his hatch. The boss shotgun flanks behind him, and long live the minnow. Well, there you go. Now we're going to push up to the side of the Object 140, and we're going to get a nice little juicer for 440 into his tank, and we reload. This is where that high DPM and alpha on the 5.8 do come into play, because look at that, 550 shot into that Object 140. That's really nasty. And I just love the fact that you can roll people for such a juicer, and then you can load HE in this tank and deal even more. 535 with that high explosive shell into the rear of that E6. I mean, that's really nasty stuff. Now, the game's over already. We have the T100 LT, who's... I'm not really sure what he's doing, but we got a pen into him. We're up to a decent amount of damage. I mean, we're going to get no damage out because everybody else on our team's going to farm it. I hate autoloaders. I really do. Autoloaders just suck so much of the damage away from the table. It's really, really annoying. But we still did over 3,000 damage this game, so I can't get too mad. We did have a pretty solid result. The 183 is dead because he gets shot by the enemy 183, and that leaves only the 100, and the boss shotgun is going to farm it all. So, oh well. We had an okay result. Hey, we got the kill, though, at least. How's that? Pretty good snap. But yeah, that's the 5A. I mean, the gun is really nice on the tank. And you can see that when we're using the vehicle. We were able to get behind our opponents, get out some quick, easy farms, and then push our way on through. And we were able to continue doing that through the entire game. I just honestly have a hard time enjoying single-shot tanks when high DPM autoloaders exist. I mean, right now the Boss Shotgun 25-ton is quite an overpowered vehicle. I mean, Wargaming's nerfing it next update. And it's because they've given it literally everything. It has 350 alpha, it has shell reload boost, it has 2800 DPM, and the highest mobility paired with best camo and view range in the game, which is just the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. It really is just really stupid. And because of that, it just farms so much damage, especially when you're trying to pick up some late game kills. I don't know. And speaking of autoloaders, look at the enemy lineup: 240 O5s, 250 Bs, and a Foch. So every tier 10 that their team has is an autoloader. And we have none. We have a 4005. That's our autoloading lineup. This is the problem I have with World of Tanks Blitz. Wargaming just doesn't know how to balance the matchmaker. They don't know how to balance the game. Autoloaders do not deserve to be placed 4 on one team and 0 on the other, essentially. It's really stupid. But we'll see how the game ends up going. It doesn't mean we're going to lose. We can still easily win, even if the enemy team has autoloaders, because it doesn't mean they'll play them right, and it doesn't mean that I'm going to play bad. But what it does mean is that autoloaders are going to be able to control a lot of what goes on in this gameplay. So we're going to aim it on the 4005. Wow, incredible shot. Really just incredible from my tank there. Well, we have a Foch in the back, which... There you go, at least we hit that one. That made up for the shell on the 4005. Not really. That shell still shouldn't have missed that 4005, but at least we hit it, right? We have the 50B, who I would love to be able to hit, but we are not able to from that current angular. Okay, well, let's just back on up, and we'll see what we can do. That 4005 in the back really scares me, because it's not just one, they have two of them, and that's pretty nasty. So, not really sure what I want to do here. The enemy team's getting nuked, though. They really are. They're playing incredibly poor. We have the Foch all the way in the back, and bonk, there you go. 452 into his vehicle, and he killed himself. Great job, I guess. I don't really know what else to say. Ah, there's the 4005. I knew it. I knew that they were going to have some goofball 4005 sitting in a spot that I couldn't predict, and I was right. That is a spot that I would definitely not be able to predict a 4005 to sit in. Well, we get one. We get two shells into his tank. That's already a pretty solid amount of damage. We're up to 2,300 ourselves. We're aiming on the enemy 4005 again. Not able to hit him from that current angle, but that doesn't really matter. We're just going to jump down here and get a shell into the pattern for 480. The 50Bs are dead. Well, I mean, they may have been in strong tanks, but they did not do that strong of a performance. Let's be completely real. Oh my god, whoever rammed me just screwed me, bruh. Come on, bro. It's not that hard to, like, look at your teammates, but man, is that irritating, because that literally just took away so much damage I could have dealt. Well, we have the 50B. We get a shell into him. We're not going to get much more damage out this game, because there really isn't an opportunity to, but we'll see. I'm aiming on the 4005, and there you go. We do get the clear onto his tank. And all that's left is a M46 Patton with 27 health. Well, none of that really matters to me. See ya. Well, we still did over 3,000 damage. We still got a decent farm. You know, for me complaining about autoloaders, I find it interesting how quickly the enemy team died. But that was definitely just a bad play from their team. I mean, when you have so much autoloading power, you need to put your tanks in the right spot. And the problem was they went low in those 50Bs. You don't put tanks with bad armor low, because it gives me the advantage of the high ground. If those 50Bs had played correctly, what they should have done is they should have gone up top all the way around, and then flanked behind me, absolutely nuked me, or at least pushed me off the hill, and then it would have put our team in a crossfire. They would have had the camping 4005s in the back, and they would have had the 50Bs on the other side. The only problem was those 4005s clearly did not know how to play the game well. And when you pair that with the fact that I was just able to kind of control hill, it worked very well for me. The 5A is a really fun tank, and you can see why. I mean, the gun's great, the DPM is solid, and even though the tank isn't the best, it still does have a lot of capabilities that I really enjoy. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about the 5A. Do you like the tank? Do you hate it? It's not a bad tank, though. Like, for years, people have always tried to say it's a bad vehicle, and that's just wrong. It's not bad. And if you want to say it's bad, then argue with my stats. I mean, 70% win rate with 3,500 average damage is pretty good if you ask me, so I don't know what else to tell you. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.